Hi, this is Leon.
Hi, this is Jason.
So we are working on a project called 11 Buckets, and today is our first dev update for 11 Buckets, and also our first beta release demo. Today, Jason is the lead developer for this project, and I'm the developer as well. And today we will use a Q&A form to do an introduction for our project. Hey, Jason, are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is our website. If you like it, you can check it out.
Yep.
Okay, then let's start the Q&A. Oh. Okay. The first question I have is, can you simply describe the project 11 Buckets?
Yeah, sure. So 11Buckets aims to build a decentralized platform for dApps, which means that it doesn't rely on any existing 2.0 Web 2.0 infrastructure such as DNS service or certificate certificate CA service, not even the cloud service. So essentially, users are connected directly through the peer-to-peer network provided by Ethereum full node and the IPFS. So we are hoping this infrastructure can help encourage developers to build truly decentralized dApp.
Cool. Okay. The next question is, so why do we need 11 buckets? So why, like, what problem does 11 buckets want to solve?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think we're attacking the harder problem because I think these days, the reason why so many dApps choose to build using a Web 2.0 infrastructure, which attached to MetaMask or Infra, is because it's actually easier to build and perceivably easier to use for the users. But I think fundamentally, if eventually when dApps become mature, when the ecosystem become mature and adopted by everyone, we think that the actual infrastructure, the proper infrastructure for Web3 should be built only using decentralized technology. So, but these are the hard problems. As you can see, that the official wallets from Ethereum, which is Mist, I believe, is pretty hard to use, frankly. So so at 11Buckets, we're trying to attack the real hard problems and trying to make sure that even though the user needs to maintain the full nodes, they can still get very good user experience. At the same time, we provide very flexible and very powerful APIs for developers because they're not communicating to a blockchain gateway. They're directly connecting to the blockchain peer-to-peer network and IPFS.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So my next question is, you mentioned Web3 in your previous answer. So can you say more about Web3? Why do we need a Web3?
Yeah, I think Web3 is an interesting idea. It was originally, well, there are actually two people trying to define Web3. At first, W3C, I believe, they define Web 3.0 as the next generation of web, which is essentially a semantic webs. That is essentially context-aware web. So which require users to give in more of the personal information in order to exchange for more personalized web services. Which is a very good idea, that is probably appears around when Google Map appears, and a lot of people were talking about it. But through the past decades, we've seen is that due to this kind of the requirement for users to give in their personal information, it caused a lot of privacy concerns, and also because there are a lot of private information stored on service providers, they become target or even victims of the hack. So that's one part of the Web3, and back in 2015, Ethereum network mainnet launched, and then they were also talking about Web3, but from the angle of building a total, fully decentralized web infrastructure for the internet, a new kind of internet. And at 11Buckets, we think that these are the two sides of the coin. So by combining them, so by combining the power of decentralized, trustless infrastructure, we'll actually be able to start building really useful web protocols that really realize the semantic web and that kind of future. So I think it's not like we need Web3. It's just that some people believe that this is the natural evolution of the internet.
Okay, I see. Okay, my next question is, in blockchain industry in general, how the team will blockchain is very important. So in your mind, why a blockchain is important?
It's not that a blockchain is important, but what blockchain represents is very important. So blockchain implies that the participants, all the participants connected by the blockchain peer-to-peer networks, doesn't need to trust each other, and yet they can all come to an agreement. That's called consensus, right? So this is what blockchain really means to me, or I should say that I believe that this is what people really want to get out of a blockchain protocol. So I think say in the future, if there's some other kind of techniques that can allow trustless group of people reach consensus in a trustless way, then we can, people will also naturally adapt to it, but I think so far the industry by large believe that a blockchain is a good way of trying to form consensus trustlessly and decentralized in a decentralized way.
Cool. Okay, then let's come back to 11Buckets project. So what makes 11Buckets awesome?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's because we are trying to build the project aiming for a long-term future of a blockchain protocol, which we believe eventually all the dApps should be and truly decentralized and should be easy enough to use. And while currently blockchains, the technology is still very young, there's still a lot of problems, such as the TPS issues. But we think that those will be resolved eventually. And yet, if we don't start build out a proper decentralized off-chain infrastructure that goes with the high TPS blockchain, then it would just all gravitate back to the centralized service again. So, which we believe that would be wrong. So I think what makes 11Buckets different or awesome is because we're trying to build. We're aiming for the future of the blockchain, and we're trying to start doing things now and realizing the Web3's vision using the existing technologies.
I see. Cool. Okay, my next question is decentralized vs user experience. Currently, for a lot of projects, they somehow choose somehow centralized way to do their claim the decentralized apps.
Centralized gateway. Yeah.
So in 11Buckets, how do we balance that two? I mean, the decentralization and the user experience.
Yeah, like we were saying that a lot of dApps today choose to expose the centralized entry point because they feel that it's easier for the users and it's actually easier for developers as well. But of course, in the end, everybody building dApps still suffer from the TPS limits on the blockchain, of course. So it is a complicated problem to address in terms of dApp user experience. But we can roughly categorize them into two. The on-chain user experience and the off-chain user experience. And so I think for ElevenBuckets, since we're attached to Ethereum blockchain, so ultimately our user experience on chain will be tied with it. But we're still confident about Ethereum 2.0, which should hopefully bring a high enough TPS to solve this issue. But of course, at the same time, we're going to also try some other solutions, such as off-chain state channel or even sidechain, if possible, in the future. And that's and for the off-chain user experience, that's what we've been focusing on lately in this current build. Is that we try to make sure that even if user has to run their own full node, the whole UI experience is very fluid and very easy. And so that's been done through a lot of automations and some we're getting a lot of user feedbacks and try to improve it over time. And which I think we nailed it in a way. So we'll see in a demo later.
Cool. Okay, look forward to that. Okay. My next question is, so what type tool set do you use in ElevenBuckets, and do you plan to open source it like someday?
Yeah. Of course, we are of course open sourcing it because I believe in this industry it would be difficult for people to trust your code if they don't trust a binary if they don't see the code. But in terms of the tool set, which is another reason why we also want to open source, is because we use a fully open source tool stack, all the way from the full node and the Web3 JS, and then almost all of our codes are written in Node.js, which is essentially object-oriented based ES6. That goes nicely with the UI front, which is React and Redux. And the UI platform of choice is we pick the Electron. So yeah, as you can see, the whole stack is open source, and so naturally we're gonna also open source our code. And currently the license is planning to be GPL v3. Yeah.
Cool, that's good. Okay, my next question is, so right now ElevenBuckets is mostly focused on Ethereum blockchain. So do you consider other chains as well?
Yeah, I think we pick Ethereum due to we believe that EVM is by far the most matured smart contract platform. So I think, but if we do have to go to another chain, then naturally we'll first consider some other chain that also supports EVM, so Solidity. But since our platform basically is blockchain agnostic, because we connect directly to the full node. So as soon as we connect to a different one and then understand its API, we're good to go. So so we're not confining ourselves in Ethereum, but currently we like Ethereum.
Cool. Okay,
right.
That makes sense. Okay, the next question is, so when do you plan to release the product? I mean, like for the general user, they can get access to it. And also, can you simply describe the future work for ElevenBuckets?
Sure. Right now, we plan to release you mentioned about the end users, right? Right. I think we still don't yet have a real solid ETA for end user release, but we plan to release a developer preview around DevCon 4 this year, 2018. And that's basically due to our roadmap development cycle. So, at 11Buckets, we are thinking about doing something similar to the Intel's, the processor maker Intel.
Mm-hmm.
They have this TikTok release cycle plan, and which is we probably will mimic to a certain extent. So that for 11Buckets in one release, we will be focusing on internal API, and in the next release, we'll shift the focus and focusing on the public API open to the developers, third-party developers, which currently planned to be done via GraphQL. So as you can see that in the future, we will be switching between the two focuses. So we will improve internal API in one release, and then hook all those new improvements back in the public API. And because of that, right now we just finished our internal API build up. So in the next release, we will focus on the third-party API for developers, so that by then you would probably have a real ready 11Bucket products for the developers. So I would say that for the end user, they probably have to wait a little bit more. But of course, if you're a pro users, our product is already usable. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I think that's all I have today. So thanks for your answers. So I will stop share the screen and give it to you. You can do the demo. Yeah.
Sure. Cool. Yeah, I'll start share my screen. Okay.
Okay. Cool. I can see it.
Yeah. Let me adjust it a little bit. And okay. So now. You can see that there's on my toolbar here, there's an icon already. So you just click on it. And right now we hook up our UI to the Rinkeby public testnet. So let's, as usual, we have to set it up the first time when you start it. Right now, the UI, because this is a developer preview, as we stated here, we feel that we need to give developers more freedoms to set up, to hook in the platform into their own environment. So that's why we choose to use a text input setup approach. Hopefully, in a final end user release, we'll hopefully improve that. Yeah, I think that's what. So yeah, we're currently running on Rinkeby testnet. So as you can see that we have both GE's data folder and then IPFS repo. That means that because we actually connect to both full nodes. Yeah. So once we hit restart, it will apply the configuration. Okay, let's wait a little bit. Okay, yeah, actually, actually the network status today is pretty good. Yeah, I'm surprised. Oh, by the way, right now we're running on a Ethereum Light client through the LES2 protocol. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it's still syncing. Yeah, so of course, normally it would be nice for users or developers to connect directly to a real full node, but we're also actively testing the Light client, just like the Mist browser, and I would say so far it works pretty well. Yeah, hopefully it won't. Hopefully I didn't jinx this today. Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems to be synced. So because we just started the UI the first time, so we have to answer a bit more questions. So one interesting fact about 11Buckets is that our UI platform is actually connected to a top level account manager. that is because instead of having to unlock individual accounts, wallet accounts, every time you want to do a transactions, we actually have an account manager do it for you, as long as you unlock the master password. So, but of course, for the first time, we have to set it up. So we need to create the master password to initialize the account manager. So let's just set up the password. And then, of course, once it's set, we now need to log in. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see that this connected to the Rinkeby testnet, and I have one account. I previously get some ether, well, the test ether from the Rinkeby faucet. Yeah, but you can see that this account, the icon has a red ring around it, which means that which implies that the account manager doesn't have its password yet. Which is naturally the case because we just set up the account manager. So let's go to the setting page and import the account. So let's just pick the, yeah, I believe this is the one. Yep. And
so the reason why we already have one account in this UI, because the account is in the geth folder.
Right. Because I created this account from geth.
Okay.
So all your existing accounts, you don't have to move them. They will just get imported. But in order for the account manager to know the password, you have to go do this, which is what I'm doing now.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, after I type the password, and we'll hit import. Yeah, just give it a little bit of time. Okay. Yeah. So now we have imported the account, and as you can see that as soon as we imported the account, the red rings around the icon is gone, so which indicates that it now the account manager now knows the password. And for the purpose of this demo, let's create another a new account so that we can send transactions. Okay. Okay, so now we have another account, which can be shown immediately here. Yeah, so this is just a new one. And since it doesn't have any balance, let's send something to it. So you can just copy the address and then select the sender. Let's try to do 2 ETH and hit send. Yep, and then you can just confirm the transaction. And you can see that as soon as the transaction is sent, when it's pending, this will lit up. Yeah, so this is the transaction I just did. Oh, yeah, just got mined.
Cool, that's pretty fast.
Let's see. Okay, so yeah, the balance of this original account has reflected the change, and then we should see. Yeah. Okay, so now we have 2 Ether here. So we also previously imported some tokens onto the Rinkeby testnet, right? So let's go take a look. Yeah. So these are the tokens that yeah, I think you deployed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's right now none of the accounts shows any token balance because we haven't watched any token yet. So we can just pick some and then watch them. Okay, so now you can see that we out of after we watch them, there's now three. This account now has 3 tokens, and let's do something with these tokens. Again, let's just do the transaction, and I want to show something that's kind of unique for this UI, which is in addition to the regular transactions, we also support batch transactions, which is quite useful for both regular wallet use, day-to-day use, or even dApp development. Since that sometimes you know that for dApps you need to make multiple smart contract calls in order to get something done. Like you need to for moving a tokens, you need to first approve the token transfer and then call the smart contract to do the actual token movement. And then by implementing a job queue, our platform can stack those jobs together, and user will be able to do multiple things in one button click. So let's now let's choose to send transactions again. Oh, my ether is running a little bit low, so let's send a little bit. Just and then we'll choose in queue here, and then let's pick a token. Okay. So we can in-queue another job. And what else? Let's see. Okay. Let's do, yeah. How about that? So as you can see that this job queue list allows you to quickly review the jobs that are queued, and you can even choose to send them individually again if you have a second thought about the job queue, or you can even remove them and redo them. But of course, right now I'm just going to click on the batch send. Yep. So yeah, yet again this is icon is blinking. I designed the effect, so I kind of like it. Yeah. Okay. So now you can see that there are 3 jobs queued all at once. Those were the transactions I just did. Oh, it's fine. That happens.
I think that's why like the full node is better than the light client.
Right. Full node is so better. I think which is a challenge. This kind of demonstrates the challenge that we're facing. But of course, we have different ways to do things right. You know, we have some tricks to make sure that the connection is more stabilized. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Actually, they got mine. So let's see. If you go back to this address, you'll see that I'll now have another half ETH, and then now I have 2 tokens. Right. I have these 2 tokens. So yeah. So that's the demonstration for the batch send. And finally, of course, I want to touch up right now. I said we don't have any dApp yet. So see in this app tab, you know, we only have this wallet app installed. Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe it's my Wi-Fi. Okay, but I was just saying that we plan to build a dApp store hooking directly via Ethereum Blockchain and IPFS. So the smart contract will serve as a source of truth for app metadata, and then the app itself will be distributed through the IPFS. So this is just, right now, these are just mock-up, but I think it basically demonstrates what we want to build in the future. And then we will, once we have our public API, we'll start using those to build dApps ourselves. Yeah, and they will become part of the platform. But and at the same time, we're also hoping that we can attract developers to build on this platform. Yeah. So what do you think?
I think this is pretty good. That's pretty amazing. I mean, like without using any server, this looks good to me. Yeah,
I believe so. I think that it just gives user peace of mind. That you don't connect to some server somewhere else, so that you won't get DDoS attacked, and also you have full control of the platform.
Yeah. Also, I think this, for me at least, it's more easy to use than Mist, and then
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great.
For sure. I think we tested with I think more than 120 accounts at once, attached to a full node, of course. I believe the performance is still pretty good. I mean, obviously, as you just saw, that every now and then they'll disconnect, and then you have to wait for more peers. But I think those were much less often if you connect to a full node. But I think overall, I think Light Client still works pretty well.
Yeah, and also I want to mention, because in test night, there are not a lot of nodes. So that means there are not a lot of nodes who will like to serve the
Light clients.
Yeah. But we have done some tests in midnight as well. It performs better than here. But we want to make it real. All the presentation today for the transaction hash, you can actually look it up in Raspberry Etherscan. You can see that.
Let's take a look at them. See this one. You actually can see as your mouse highlight those. You can see the transaction hash.
Right.
And the previous one, the previous job we have also. So yeah, we can post them below the video, and then you're welcome to check it out. I think it's pretty good.
Right. Well, you can see, like with this app itself, we don't need to go to Etherscan at all to see whether the transaction got mined.
Right. So Etherscan becomes a good, just a backup, right? And you get to see it directly in the same UI.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
So, any more comments?
Oh yeah. As you just saw that I just log out, and actually during even though it looks like, it appears that when I send a lot of transactions, I didn't type in any password. That is actually being handled by the account manager. And actually, the accounts are all locked most of the times, and then they will only be unlocked right before the transaction is done, so that and then get locked again, getting locked back again after the transactions are sent. So we think it's pretty good. It makes sure that the private keys stay in the memory for the shortest amount of time, and then it also it also improves the user experience. So you don't have to deal with password all the time, nor you have to deal with pop-up like MetaMask all the time.
Cool. Good. Great.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think then we are done for the demo. So if you have any questions about 11Buckets, you can go to our website and leave us a message. Any suggestion appreciated. Okay. Right. So today then we just finish here. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.